Stop a few heads getting bumped together, I guess. Yeah, it's worth a try.
Well, I'll talk to the governor right away. If we keep the library open after classes, that gives us 2 areas where they can be segregated after working hours with a minimum of supervision.
Mr. Andrews, the women will continue to work in whatever areas they have been told to. If they wish to keep apart after working hours, they can go to their cells. I will not do anything which polarizes large groups of women under any circumstances. That would only make matters worse.
Surely you're not still going to the pottery class?
Indeed I am. And for the same reason, I am refusing Mr. Andrews' request for segregation. To do otherwise, to change the established order of things, would only seem to the women as a sign of weakness on our part. I am not prepared to do that.
The sooner we get out of here, the better I'll like it.
Yeah, me too. You got a fag on you, Hazel? I had. Want to know what happened to him? Ask her.
He smoked too much. Got over kicking habit.
What did you do?
What's that matter? She's in with Brian. She deserves all she gets.
I'll decide who deserves what in here.
Yeah, but you...
But nothing. You gotta stop heavying people. There's enough trouble in here as it is. Now, you keep on like this and you might just find yourself out on a limb, understand?
Yeah, sure, be whatever you say.
Talkative lot, aren't we?
So you a smoker, Miss Bennett? Isn't that right, Hazel? Yeah.
I see. Well, those of you who want to attend the pottery class had better get moving. And there'll be no smoking in the library. Come on.
Miss Bennett, is it okay if I go to classes?
It's voluntary, Smith. Please yourself.
Ta.
All right, ladies, take a lump of clay, a piece about as big as your fist will do. Take a seat and we'll get today's project underway. Clay modelling, like most things, is a matter of learning to walk before you can run. So we're going to start off with something simple, and at the same time, something practical. And since you're nearly all smokers...
Someone's giving up, though.
Watching.
I thought an ashtray would be a good item to start off with.
What about a death mask for Georgie Baxter?
All right, who did that? Who threw that piece of clay?
Never mind, Mr. Andrews, the damage is done.
All right, you want to play funny games? Fine. Let's see how funny you think it is back in the laundry.
Oh,
Lessons are cancelled. I'm sorry. Mr. Fletcher.
Mrs. Davidson, what happened?
A slight accident. Come in, will you?
Do you need a hand?
No, thank you. I can manage. Someone threw a lump of clay. I don't think it was meant for me.
I should hope not. But it doesn't excuse the fact that it was thrown.
I know, I know.
Well, then you're going to punish the persons responsible.
No. Well, there's no real harm done. If it had happened to one of the women instead of me, I would have just told them to clean themselves up, which is precisely what I have done. Then I would have had a few words with them, which is what I intend to do now. Where are they?
Well, I'd guess that you want to talk to them, so put them in the rec room. Mrs. Davidson, I hope you realize that this wasn't a minor prank. In my opinion, it could have developed into a major confrontation. There's no doubt now the women are divided into 2 separate camps.
I agree with you, Mr. Fletcher. And to avoid your major confrontation, I have decided to act upon Mr. Andrews' suggestion and leave the library open. Perhaps voluntary segregation at this time would be most prudent.
It was meant for me, and she knows it.
You should have heard what she said to me.
Never mind what she said. What about your crack about me giving up smoking?
Yeah, and it was a real stupid thing to do, too, with Mrs. Davidson in the room and all. What?
I'm telling you, I've just about had the lot of you. And I would have given you credit for more brains to start a stupid stunt like that.
She's done it.
Never mind who pushed who or who started it. It was a stupid thing to do.
You're quite right, Smith. It was a very stupid thing to do. But fortunately, there was no real harm done this time. Hopefully, suspension of classes for the rest of the day will be sufficient punishment for all of you. And whilst I have your undivided attention, I might warn you, all of you, that I am aware of certain faction fighting which has been building for some days. I do not know the reason for it, but I do know it must stop. I have arranged for the library to be left open this evening, as well as the recreation room. I suggest you take advantage of this in order to avoid one another and to consider how you are going to resolve your differences. This is your first and only warning. Failure to settle this feud will result in all of you being confined to your cell and loss of general privileges. That is all.
Well, it was Baxter who threw it, not us.
Yeah, and you would have done nothing to provoke it, I suppose.
She was slinging you off at us.
What? Baiting you mean? And of course you would have run true to form and accepted it. You're lucky that Davo didn't throw you in the pound, for crying out loud. I certainly would have.
What the hell's going on? Mr. Fletcher, you gotta hurry. There's about six
What's
of them.
going on, Baxter?
Now, wait just a minute.
No, just stay right where you are, Bryant.
Look, I never did anything.
No, we didn't do
That's enough. Obviously, Mrs. Davidson's warning wasn't enough for you. In view of that, all buy-up privileges will be suspended until further notice. Come on, Baxter.
We never touched her.
Well, how much of this are you going to take, Jude?
Now, give it up, Meg. You don't have to keep working. We don't need the money, for God's sake.
Believe me, it's not the money, Bob.
What is it? I mean, what keeps you at a job where, by your own admission, your life is at risk?
Now, that's nonsense.
Look, Meg, you told me how Bill was killed. Now, by the sound of things, a similar situation is developing there now.
It won't come to that.
No. Who's going to stop it, you?
Well, I can try. But turning my back on them or running away and leaving them isn't going to help them either. And it certainly isn't going to help me. I couldn't live with myself if I did that.
Look, Meg, you don't owe them anything. You don't owe them a thing.
Don't I? Bob, I haven't exactly had an easy life. Now, I've told you a great deal about myself, and I think you understand.
Of course I do.
Well, then you must understand that I am what I am today because somebody cared about me. Somebody took the trouble to lend a hand when things got rough and didn't turn their back on me. Now, surely I owe it to them and myself to give the same consideration to people who haven't got anyone else.
Like you did with that Margot woman, you mean? Where did that get you? Her, for that matter. She turned her back on you.
No, she didn't. Margot took a job as a stripper because she saw the chance to earn some more money, re-establish herself in the outside world. Now, despite what you and I may think about her occupation, at least she's not involved in anything that could end herself up in Wentworth again. Now, surely that has to be seen as a step in the right direction.
Well, I hope you're right.
Maxie? Reg, how are you? Still talks a lot, eh? Well, enjoy the show. I've got to get ready for my next act.
Making a quid, are you, darling?
Yeah? I do all right. What's it to you?
How's Wayne, boy? Is he getting his share?
Wayne does all right. He's got his own job. Doesn't need to bludge off me.
Oh, Wayne is working, eh? That's amazing, Reg. Where's he at?
He's got a job washing dishes at a restaurant on the other... What's it got to do with you, anyway?
Dishwasher, eh? Well, he won't be getting enough, then.
Enough for what? He hasn't.
Right, he has. People I work for, he has, you see. Of course, I told Wayne, boy, not to go for the big bunt and all, but little Wayne, he wouldn't listen, would he?
How much?
600.
100,000.
Boss is getting a bit impatient, you know. Wants his money like yesterday.
You've got to give us some time, Maxie. A month?
Ah, the boss gets very nasty when he doesn't get paid on time.
2 weeks, then. That's all. Come on. Done you a few favours in my time. Just this once. Please.
All right, then. 2 weeks, but no more.
You're a real pal, Maxie.
Yeah, I know. But if the money's not paid in time, I'll just have to hand it over to Reg. You know what he's like, don't you?
Oh, I wish I hadn't tossed that packet out that she screwed up. At least I could have scrounged a few fag papers and re-rolled them.
Yeah, we should go and take her buy-up off her, see how she likes that.
We will do no such thing. Now, look, if we put one hand on her, the whole thing's going to blow up in our faces.
Well, what do you reckon's happening now? We haven't even touched her and look where we are.
Yeah, I know that. But getting at her isn't going to help anything.
Well, what is then?
Well, going straight to the top, I guess. In that case, it's B. Smith.
She's not going to listen.
Well, I will make her listen. I mean, we have done nothing wrong, have we? I mean, she's got to see that.